like to turn there. 23rd chapter. Well, I thought it was the 23rd chapter. I looked at it wrong. Yeah, okay. All right, sorry. I see what happened. I didn't flip the page here. I'm using a little Bible I've never used before. All right. Verse 26 of chapter 23. I knew it was in chapter 23. I was just on the wrong backside of the chapter there. And when they had led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon of Cyrene coming from the country, and laid on him the cross to bear it after Jesus. And there followed him a great multitude of the people and of women who bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus, turning unto them, said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bare, and the breasts that never gave suck. Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and the hills cover us. For if they do these things in the green tree, what shall be done in the dry? And there were also two other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And beginning in verse 33, which was where I intended to start, and when they came unto the place which is called the Skull, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. And Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And parting his garments among them, they cast lots. And the people stood beholding. And the rulers also scoffed at him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself. If this is the Christ of God, his chosen. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him, offering him vinegar, and saying, If thou art the King of the Jews, save thyself. And there was also a superscription over him, This is the King of the Jews. And one of the malefactors that were hanged railed on him, saying, Art not thou the Christ? Save thyself and us. But the other answered, and rebuking him, said, Dost thou not even fear God, seeing that thou art in the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man hath done nothing amiss. And he said, Jesus, remember me when thou comest in thy kingdom. And when he said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. And it was now about the 6th hour, and darkness came over the whole land till the 9th hour. The sun's light failing, the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having said this, he gave up the ghost. You know, Luke's account of that, and all the accounts of the crucifixion, they all tell the same story, but maybe describe it in just a little bit of a different way. And one of the things that comes to me is, and we're taught to fear God and keep his commandments. One thing I noticed about these two men that were crucified with Jesus, at least one of them wasn't like the people that we see put to death today for their wrongdoings. Very, very seldom do you ever hear someone say, I did this and I deserve this, even to their death. But this one particular one says, we deserve what we're getting for what we have done. We deserve this penalty. He admitted his wrong. He admitted his wrong. And he asked the other one, don't you fear God? That tells me that this man was fearful of death and fearful of God when he petitioned Jesus on the cross. And based upon his attitude and his relationship that he may have already had with God, that he had fallen away, Jesus said, today you shall be with me in paradise. He not only feared death, but the Son of God feared death as well. He feared it, and he suffered in agony for us. Why did he fear it? Because he felt it. Because it's so hard for us to realize that God was living in flesh and hanging on a cross. Fleshly pain and agony and turmoil, just like you and I would have suffered. And he did it for us. And if we are fearful of God, just like that thief that was hanging on the cross that says, I'm guilty and I need you, Lord, then that's the attitude that we should have when realizing that without Jesus' death upon the cross, we would stand guilty before God with no hope. Let's remember that as we partake of the Lord's Supper this morning. We'll sing 2 songs to prepare our minds